So thinking of playing Boots and Saddles, Air Cavalry in the 80s, a game from the Assault series. This is introductory scenario A. A couple of Soviet tank platoon or companies. A couple of companies going up against a company of M1 U.S. M1s. The M1s have gone up into this wooded hilltop here, and the Soviets have gone into combat formation and are this company is here in the woods parallel the stream. This company over here is in that urban strip and in the open on the primary road there. Boots and Saddles, Air Cavalry in the 80s. Just some commentary up to this point. So I figured out that these heavy green hexsides here, they are dense. They're dense woods, and interestingly, for the M1 platoons here, all of these M1 platoons, they are T mobility class track, and in either march or combat formation, dense woods. These tanks are prohibited from crossing those dense woods there. So this is a pretty big obstacle to the Americans here. Well, to the Soviets as well, but I would have done things differently if I had realized that the dense woods are a hard barrier to the tanks there. Very sits well with me on a realism, in a realism sense. Now the other one I noticed, okay, so who can cross the dense woods? And it's just the leg. So let's go with leg in march formation. Leg in march formation for dense woods, it has 4 dash. And because there are no number dashes on the track columns, I didn't even bother looking up what that is. So I'm going to do that. Okay, that is what I guessed it was. So yeah, leg units have to roll that number or less to enter that terrain or cross that hex side. Like that a lot. As a matter of fact, I've wondered at times why games don't do that more. So that variability of crossing certain terrain, I like a lot. As a matter of fact, I would like to see it more, but just to see it at all is really nice. Another issue has to do with the Soviet tanks, Soviet tank platoons moving by battle drill. I think I was being kind of loose in interpreting the rule. I think I may want to be much stricter. Yeah, so I do think I need to interpret this more strictly. So they have to assume the same formation. So I'm going to give some examples here. So if they were like that, they have to maintain the same formation. They're in combat formation here. They have to expend the same number of movement points. Yeah, and maintain the same facing. So if they were over here, they could move as a formation using battle drill. And they could go 1, 1, 1. They expended the same number of movement points, same formation, same facing. But I think over here, combat formation, woods is 2. to use battle drill, I guess they would have to. So this would be 2, and this could be 1, 2, and 1, 2. They stayed in the same formation, they maintained the same facing, and they expended the same number of movement points. Okay, I guess you could do that, but then if you can't do that, then you can't use the battle drill. That is the point. Okay, so if I wanted this unit to only move here, two, so then it would not satisfy the battle drill criteria. So this could not be a battle drill move. I think that's the way I'm going. So I'll have to remember that. Okay. So battle drill isn't quite as flexible as I thought it was. Yeah, I guess to make the lack of flexibility really clear. So here I was thinking, okay, maybe these two platoons of the same company could use battle drill, and then this unit does a normal move by command. But no, it's the rules say if all units of a formation cannot if it's not possible for all units of the formation to follow these criteria, then battle drill cannot be used. So you can't voluntarily choose to move part of a company by battle drill and another part not by battle drill. Next topic, I need to take a look at line of sight here because Soviets are going to move next, and so I need to figure out, can these two platoons see each other? And of course I would assume not. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to look up this one because the woods would add another layer or another level on top of the higher ground. So these three hexes would actually be 2 levels higher than the Soviets down here in the woods, right there next to the stream. And these tanks are only 1 level up in the woods. So there should be no line of sight here. But if, well, I won't do what ifs, okay. But I'm going to go ahead, I was just assuming that the Americans here in the woods on this elevation could see the Soviets down here and vice versa. So let me verify that before moving on and pushing the Soviets forward. Okay, maybe I should not have looked at terrain levels, but we'll get to that in a minute. Looking at the board here, just looking at the board, one might assume that this is 0 level. The green here is 0, and that the light brown is level 1. And so we might think 0, and that this is 0 and 1. And if it's whole hex terrain, then maybe, again, we might assume, okay, it's the higher of the 2 elevations. So this is 0 and 1, 1, 1, 1. And this, again, has the darker brown in it, medium brown in it. So maybe we go 2, 2, 2. No, it's not that at all. It's quite different. And I can't think of a game can't recall a game that I've played that has this idea. So it's actually quite different. So green is 0, yes. And this is 0 and 1, but it's not whole hex terrain. This is a 0 portion and a 1 portion in the hex. the solid light brown is not 1, it's actually 2. And then we go up from there. So it's 2 and 3. But whole medium brown is not 3, it's 4. And 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. So what does that mean in practice? Okay, grab a M60A3 platoon there and put them up here, and grab a BMP A platoon there and put them down here. So the BMP is definitely at level 0. This is 0, and this is 0 and 1, and then this is 2. So even if the BMP were here, I think that there's still a line of sight here because it's 0, 0, 1, and 2. And if I understand this correctly, we in this series, we don't have pancake terrain per se. Instead, we are actually doing the line and looking at the exact height of intervening terrain, meaning that I think if the American platoon was up here, which by the way, this hex right there corresponds to this one right here. So the lower light brown is level 2, the medium brown is 3, and so I think that the unit here could both sight and be sighted at either level. Something, I think. So I think what that means is, okay, so here the BMP would probably be in dead space. I say probably because we would have to string it here. But I'm going to assume it's in dead space. But if it's out here, this intervening terrain is not going to block line of sight. Okay. That all looks good. Definitely just have to practice that. And this is different. Again, that'll be interesting. I think that this is just smoothing out the elevation changes. That's what I think, but I don't want to speak too quickly without actually trying it.